Hey y'all, just gonna show you how to install one of these Riv-Nuts. Here's what I just got done installing. You see those little knurled marks on there? They come from this the edge of this tool that you use to put it in. It's just a piece of hex stock, and I'm using a 1032 here. Let me sit you down. I'm using a 1032, and so you use a 1032 bolt to actually set this thing. And see here's the hex stock. You can see it's actually got a little angle cut in it, and then it's got the knurl put in it, so it grips the washer or head of the rivet nut. So what you do is you end up holding the hex stock and turning the bolt, which pinches this like a rivet and sets it. It's going to set in the aluminum, but we had to drill, in this case here, we had to drill down into the Teflon to make sure that not only does the riv nut clear and it sits flush down before we start to tighten it up, but that the bolt, the little 1032 button we're going to use, also fits all the way down. Now we got material thickness and also the washer to think of too, but I like to make sure we got enough room. You don't always do they do make blind hole rib nuts too. This is actually a pinching rib nut, so it's literally going to pinch to this aluminum. But they do make some that you can put into anything, phenolic or whatever, something that you can't really put threads in and they would stay there. You would use an expanding rib nut or threaded insert to use the correct terminology. But let me get you up here, put you somewhere a little more stable. There we go. Sorry about that. I was thinking I was on the microphone there. We'll go ahead and set this one. I have a tool that's actually like a rivet gun as well that can do this. But with these aluminum rivets, especially the small diameter bolt size, you tend to rip the threads out of these things because you've got a lot of leverage with that thing. With this here, even with the bigger size, I have a bigger tool that'll do a 1/4-20 and even steel. And of course the steel ones they take a little bit more elbow and pressure, which you got to push down to make sure it stays flush. And now you're going to start bringing this bolt down. And just till it gets good and tight, you know. You go too far and you can rip the threads out with this as well. Generally, depending on the material, once you do one, you count how many times you do these little quarter turns. And I think I counted like 9 or 10. And you can feel it starting, it's getting there. And there we're getting, that's about all you want. If it goes any further and gets easy, you've just ruined it. So there we go. Now what you want to do is hold pressure just on this hex to bust this loose. And then as soon as you get her loose, you want to take that wrench off. Get it right out of the way. And she's spinning out of it real good. Rib nuts are sweet, man. I mean, they use them in aircraft and stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. Zeus's are all good, but you couldn't use a Zeus in this particular instance. You'd have to like weld a pad or something on and make, not for testing. But see here, we're good to go. It threads right in. There's no issue with the threads didn't get tight or nothing, and she's set really good. So what we're going to do before we play around with fitting the surface of this on, I mean, we should, the holes and all should line up pretty good. Let's give her a test fit. Get you looking at that there. The light in here is terrible today. But yeah, we're a little filing, you know, but I think we're close. We're real close there. So that's it. We go ahead and bolt that down, and it's on. It'll be on, you know, and it won't move. It won't go anywhere. I got to run across the street to Richie's garage. He's got some rubber, extruded rubber that we use on the edges. It'll seal this stuff up here on either side, and I'll probably run it around here. And the nice thing is, we used to use that at the cryogenic place. Richie and I both worked there. He worked there a long time after I did, but you use any kind of silicone, and you put it inside the center of the rubber, and you stick it right in, and you use silicone to glue it right to the fiberglass, and it'll stay right on there. So at this point, done for today. I got to run over to Richie's and rape his toolbox over there for the goods and see what he's got going. But tomorrow we'll take the 90 and knock the heavy stuff down. We'll just smooth it up, kind of just like this here, you know. Nothing too fancy, but just get the weave look out of the pattern out of the glass, you know. And then she'll be ready for spray bomb after we fit. You know, we're gonna have to probably bring this surface back a little bit just to make up for the thickness of the rubber going in there. But that's it. We'll get it bolted back on. If you watched the other video, the radiator passed the leak test. No leaky after I dropped it, so we're all good. I think I explained how, because it's only a $31 radiator from, or heater core from O'Reilly's, we'll go ahead and buy a spare anyway if we don't get to do the testing in April. We don't get enough people to test in April. We'll go right to Nelson Ledges with a spare. So if there's any issue with this one leaking, we can plug and play. The other one will drop right in. So that's it for today from RPM headquarters. Again, shh, don't tell Sherry. We were in her kitchen using her sink and stuff to check the leaks on this thing. But that's it. That's all we got for you for today. Man, we want to get this thing up and running. We got to get a fuel tank on her yet, folks. Got to get her going. Talk to you soon.